Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Tuesday, January 5th, so Happy New Year! Happy 2021! I didn't get a chance to film yesterday because I was swamped with Etsy business. The day or two before and after New Year's are really crazy with someone who sells temperature patterns. You can't imagine. So I had a lot more kits and printed patterns and things that I had anticipated, I suppose. So I needed to do more work yesterday than I had time for, so I wasn't able to film. But I'm here now, and I can share with you what I've been able to do the last week, and not as much as I would have hoped because, again, Etsy business and life with family got in the way and just didn't get to do what I had planned to do, but that's okay. I still got some stuff done. I have a few things to show, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the month. The month I have planned out like every day something specific for, mostly for the Full Coverage Fanatics bingo card. And so there's not a lot of wiggle room. So I've already shifted things once. I'm hoping I don't have to shift things again to be able to get in everything that I wanted to get in. Worst case, some of my like family pieces and stuff might get shelved until next month just so that I can try to get a blackout in the bingo because like that's totally important, right? Anyways, let's see. Let's start with, oh yeah, I got my monthly little, I guess, I don't know what they call it. The Fat Quarter Shop sends me a few things every month, and sometimes I give them away, sometimes I keep them. This month they sent me the Prim and Proper pattern, which looks a lot like the quilt book that they sent a month or two ago, and I really like that quilt. I'm not sure if I would stitch this as well, but it is really cute. I like the pot of flowers. Again, if I were to do something like this, I may have to zhuzh it up with some specialty stitches or something, but I really like these quilt blocks and the center pot and all of that. So that's really cute. That one's called Prim and Proper. And then this other one is the same one I have already. So you know what that means. It means a giveaway. This is number 6 of the Prim Stitch series, Home and Hearth. And I am working on this right now. I'm not trucking along all that quickly because I just don't have a lot of time to stitch. But I did make a little progress that I'll show you in a minute. For this one, I guess we can say home if you would like to stitch this, and I can send you this bonus copy because I still have mine. Say home and you can be entered to win this pattern. So make sure you're over 18 so I can have your address. I'll ship anywhere in the world, and don't say giveaway or free or win or things like that in the comments, just to make sure somebody who loves to stitch will get this pattern. So say the word home, and I'll do that drawing next week. That's that. Then I can do my travel stitching. And I'll start with that one, that Prim Stitch series piece. So here's my copy. And a little bit of progress on this compared to last week. This is 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim. It's the called for fabric. I'm doing mine 1/1, full crosses, and occasionally specialty stitches. I haven't gotten to any specialty stitches yet. So far I've just been trucking away on this big house, which I could have done specialty stitches to make it go faster, but I just wasn't in the mood for making that happen. So I finished this front panel, finished the roof. Now I'm working down here. I think what I'll do next is do the chimneys and the door, because then I can move up to do the moon and the little stars that are in the sky, and then work down the pot, because these windows are the same color as these stars. So while I have that color out, I think it'd be fun to do all of that at the same time. So next thing I'll do will be the chimney and the door. Then I'll work up the moon, and then I'll do the stars and the windows at the same time. So that's kind of my plan. Maybe I'll get more time this week to work on it. So travel stitching, temperature stitching, I mean, is my temperature tree, which is now complete. Yay! Because 2020 is over. So I finished mine, I forget what day. Yeah, I don't remember anymore. It was midweek, I think. It wasn't all the way till Sunday, but yeah, I got it done. So a lot of you are working on that again this year, or for the first time this year. And a lot of you are finishing it. So it's kind of fun to see on Instagram and Facebook the finishes and starts of this. It's pretty fun. So here's mine. It's on 28 count light blue even weave by Artiste, the Hobby Lobby brand, and it's I forget what else I was gonna say. 1/1. I don't know if I said that. Anyway, so this is my finish of the temperature tree. So now I'll be able to like take a picture of it and maybe update my cover page on my pattern. This leaf right here got down to 48, I believe, as the high. And so the only other time, I think I had one here and one here that were that low colors. My lowest color on the tree, or on the range. So it's cool that I got that one more time down here. That was last Monday when I made my video, and it was raining all day long. So it never really, the sun never came out. So it didn't ever warm up. And I think I got to the hottest, I think maybe that might be the hottest leaf color there. So I did get all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom this year, which was kind of fun. Last year, I don't think I got all the way to the top of the range when I was working on my was it balloons and quilt last year? I did 2 last year, I think, or now 2 years ago, because last year is over. Last year was this one. So I got that one done, and I got typography started, which I could do the rest of the J today, but I just haven't had a chance. This is temperature typography. It's my most recent one that has been released, and I'll be working on this year. I decided to work on this one in Pattern Keeper, and I'll probably work on it every letter rather than every week. So like the J is 4, each letter is a different amount of days, so it's not going to be as consistent as like the flower garden, where they're mostly 5 petals and some 6, some 4, but mostly 5. This one, they vary a little bit more than that, but I'll try to keep track of how, like, what date I'll need to go back in and work on it, and then maybe do a whole letter at a time. So far I've done 2 days on it, and this is my start. This is on some pale blue 28 count even weave that I was gifted, so I'm not exactly sure what color it is or what type it is. 1/1 still. This is 2 days. It was the same color. So it's so boring. But that's the beginning of the J, and I could do the rest of the J today. So I'll probably do that later on before I get going on my other things. I'll do the next 2 days on there. I like to, I use AccuWeather.com, and I use the month tab on the local weather section of their website. The app doesn't have historical temperatures, but the website does. And I'll go in there, and they have the whole month at a glance, and they show you the high and low of every day that's happened previously to that. So the current day, I think it might just be the forecast the entire day. And so I'll just go and wait. I'll go in the following day. So today's the 5th. I'll go in now, and I can find the 3rd and the 4th to finish my letter J. But I can't, using that method, I can't use the current day's temperature. And I'm okay with that, because I think it would maybe be too stressful to try to think about going in the evening and looking up the day's temperature and like, is it going to be accurate? Will I have to change it? I just wait and do it in a chunk. So that's how I do it. And I actually, for this one, since I decided to use Pattern Keeper, in the past, I would, like, here's my tree. I would write the temperature right on the leaf, so I would know what it is. And that's how I did the tree. And I worked mostly from the pattern, and I did the trunk sometimes in Pattern Keeper and sometimes with the pattern, just depending on my mood or where I was going. And But this one I thought it would be fun to use Pattern Keeper. So I decided to find a calendar. I found this online, just a Google search for a calendar, and I found this one. And it has the day of the week even, which is unnecessary but kind of fun, and then a place to mark something. So I'm going to keep track of my temperatures in here so that when I use Pattern Keeper, I'll know, I can just reference this to know what to stitch. So we'll see if I like it. If not, I'll go back to the paper version where I write directly on the chart, but I thought I'd try this. And if anybody else is wanting to do that, I don't think it has a website on here. Calendars.net is apparently where I found that. But I just did a Google image search for 2021 calendar and a printable calendar, and that's what I found that one. So yeah, so I'm excited about that, to see that one grow this year. And then I decided last Monday to go ahead and start Mill Hill Mondays last week, even though it wasn't 2021 yet, which I decided I was gonna tag along with Charlene of the Witchy Stitchers here on Flosstube. She does Mill Hill Mondays, and to work on her buttons and beads kits. And I now have buttons and beads kits, and I'm gonna be working on one for every month to put in a frame to rotate through. So I'm gonna focus on one at a time. So I'll only have one going. I won't rotate through the ones I have. I'll just work on one until it's done and then switch it out. So right now I'm working on Winged Monarch, which is one I got, I think like a year and a half ago now for my birthday or something. Maybe Mother's Day, I don't know. I was gifted this, double checking which ones are up here. They always have a few additional ones to see, you know, to tempt you. And so I believe I've picked out my favorites for the 12 months of the year. And this one will be May, I believe, is what I'll have this one in the frame during May. I managed to work on it last Monday. And then yesterday I was starting to stitch on Iris, and I actually found something I needed to frog. I had 4 stitches that were off. Thankfully it wasn't any more than that. And then I forget what reminded me, but I was like, wait, it's Mill Hill Monday. I should not be working on Iris today, because I had planned to work on my quick stitch Iris every day except for Mondays now, and then the buttons and beads kits will be my like bonus piece on Mondays instead of Iris, and I had totally forgotten. And maybe it was because I didn't film yesterday and so my day was kind of thrown off. That's possible. But I remembered, put Iris away. I had like 18 stitches on Iris and put it away, and got this out again. So this is 2 Mondays worth of stitching, and I'll hopefully try to find a picture of when I showed it to you last. But here it is now. This is on the Given perforated paper. It's like a light pale yellow. I think it's yellow-green technically, but it looks yellow to me. So last Monday I worked on this burgundy color, and I decided to just color complete and did all the burgundy. And then yesterday I went through and did the dark purple. So that's all the dark purple. And I thought that was pretty fun. So last time I had all the butterfly plus the centers of the flowers done, and now I'm adding the petals. There's also some background and of course lots of beads. So I'm excited. This is really fun. So thank you, Charlene, for the idea. And I'm excited to hopefully remember to bring that out every Monday and get that done. So I have it written on my like plans calendar, Mill Hill Mondays, but I guess I hadn't seen that and had totally forgotten, but at least I remembered again. So I've done that 2 Mondays now, and that's fun. So I really do like those. So I think at least at this point in the project, I'll color complete. In the future, I may, like if I get into the background or a different project that has a lot of a certain color, I'll probably limit myself to maybe, you know, a certain amount of minutes or a certain amount of strings, because it is a bonus piece. It's not meant to be my whole day focus. So it'll be kind of like I usually have a time in the late afternoon before I make dinner that I like to just sit and rest to catch my breath from whatever I've been doing in the morning before I have to get up and make dinner. So that time is typically when I'll do my bonus stitching, like the iris or the Mill Hill kit. So whatever I can get done in that chunk is kind of what I'll do. And then the evening stitching is my like focus piece for the day. So that's usually what I end up doing. So yeah, so my plan last week was to work on my e-fairy until it was done. And I thought this would take 2 days, maybe 3, possibly even 1 if I got my act together. Here's my letters from Nora by Letter E-Fairy by Nora Corbett. And yeah, I just didn't have any time. I kept wanting to pull it out. All I had left was beads. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I did the Krynic last time. So yeah, all I had left was backstitching and beads. So I did a lot of the backstitching the first day and the second day. I just, very little time to stitch. And so I ended up, even on the 31st, I didn't put a single stitch in on anything, which is very surprising for me. I usually get something done, not a single stitch. I was working on Etsy kits all day long, and then we stayed up with the family. We weren't getting together with anybody this year, so we decided to let all the kids stay up, which the younger two had never done on New Year's Eve. So everybody stayed up till midnight. So we had lots of games and a movie, you know, things to occupy, as well as food, you know, so things to occupy the time. So I didn't have time to stitch because I was doing family things all night long. So that day was just full of other things. But I managed to get it done on the 1st, I believe, which I was hoping to get it done on like the 29th or something, and then have 2 or 3 days to work on Tea and Books, my brand new start. Tea and Books never got started. I got it prepped in Pattern Keeper and I got it pinned where I need to go and start, but it's not started. So it feels like it is because I did a lot of the prep work, but it's not. So that's okay. I will get that started maybe February because January is just too full of other things to throw in a new start. But I'll show you where I got on that in a minute. But I did get E-Fairy finished, which is really cool. It just took a lot longer than I was hoping it would. But I got it done on the 1st. So here it is. This is my color conversion. And I did have a couple people ask for this conversion. I am hoping, right now life is pretty crazy, but I'm hoping I can get this up on my color conversions blog that I started. I haven't added anything to it lately, but I'll try to get this up and let you know. It is hard sometimes to completely follow a conversion that I do because sometimes I use Victorian mottos that were part of a monthly club like 2 years ago. They're not necessarily readily available now. So if I've used a color like that, you may not be able to use it as well. But I'll show you what I did and then you can run with it from there, I guess. So down here, I did all these swirly back stitches and then added the beads along the edge in blue. A lot of these beads were gold. There's a few like more brownish, oily looking beads in there too. And that's all done. This is 32 count water lily linen by Witchelt, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So that's exciting. This is 2/2 on 32 count. So you have to do, I can't do little tiny petite stitches on things with beads because you have to make it big enough for the beads to fit. But I do like doing 32 count stuff with beads because it just has a little bit better coverage than 28. So my next one, which I'm hoping to start tomorrow, I was supposed to start this today because the 5th going forward will be the day I'll hope to get this worked on every month. This is the letter L fairy for my next niece in chronological order. The E and the L will both need to be gifted the same year, next summer. So I have a year and a half. But then I have another niece the following summer and then 2 nieces the following summer after that. So I need to keep keep working on these. I can't stop. So I don't end up like having a hard time at the end getting them done. So I want to be able to enjoy the process. So this one I will also be doing another color conversion on. I'm not exactly sure what it will be yet, so I'll probably play with it tomorrow right before I start stitching. I think I'll make her dress pink, and this part of her wing is like a weird overlay that doesn't really make sense to me, so I may either leave that out or make it a more pale bluish green or something, so it's not quite so distracting, I guess. And then the center color in the L, I may change that as well. Obviously all of these colors are open to debate because I don't have most of them. These Nora Corbett fairies call for Classic Colorworks Crescent colors, which is actually now Classic Colorworks. So I don't have most of these, I have a few. So already I just pick from my stash if it's similar, or if I'm doing a color conversion, I'll just go completely off book and do my own thing. So this is the next one. The center is right there. So I'm not sure where I'll go first. If I'll go up to her or go up to the L. She'd probably be closer to count to, but then no matter what I do, I'll have to count over to the L. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what I decide to do. I did add this. She is very close to the center now that I'm opening it up to look. The center is like right there. So I think I'll probably start working on her first and then maybe do some beading over to the top of the L later. I did decide to use this for a challenge, so I think I'm planning, I want to get at least 200 stitches on it. So we'll see what that looks like. I'll probably get some leg and some dress, and we'll see how that goes. It's got the same water lily linen. I have purchased all the linen in 1/8 yard fat eighths, fat 8 cuts for everybody. So I think the fairies will look pretty on green no matter what color conversion I do. So I just got a whole bunch all at once, and so I just pulled another piece of fabric. And this is my old conversion for the E-Fairy. I haven't done the new conversion yet, so that's always fun to do. So I'll get to do that tomorrow. Today, I will continue to work on my wild, what do you call it? Oh, I forgot to bring my my pattern keeper up here. I was gonna show you the mock-up. I'll have to put a little mock-up here of what the Mystery Sal, the Cross Stitch Studio Mystery Sal, which is a theme of wildlife. So a lot of times I'll just call it the Wildlife Sal or the Wildlife Mystery Sal. I was able to start that, I think not until the 2nd, because the 1st I wanted to finish my fairy before I did anything else, and so this didn't get started until the 2nd. Because of that, I have this project slotted for 4 bingo squares in Full Coverage Fanatics, and since I've only worked on it 3 days so far. Today was supposed to be the last day I worked on it, and I only worked on it 3 days. So what I decided to do is I'd shift this week over and bump out my new start for our anniversary. So I'm still kind of on the fence about whether or not I want to do it at all, and I'll probably revisit that in February to see if I want to go ahead with that one. So I kicked that one out, and I'll work on the Wildlife Sal one more day today to get the 4th bingo square finished, and then I'll proceed with the rest of my plans that I had for the week. So here is where I got to on this one. And this is a 32 count fabric, and it's like kind of a pale gray-green color, and it's slightly mottled. And I decided to go ahead and not stitch the background at the moment. I'm reserving the right to go back and finish it later. So I can still use this for the Full Coverage Fanatics group because it still is full coverage. I'm not going to start with the background because in case it looks unnecessary in the future, it currently looks unnecessary, but it may turn out to be necessary. So if I decide to stitch it all once I see more of the picture, I reserve the right to keep it full coverage. So at this point, it's staying full coverage. You can see some of the blinds shadows in there. If it's, if at some point in the future I decide we get enough parts out and I said, yeah, I don't want to do the background at all, then I'll take it out of future full coverage, you know, challenges. But for the moment, I left it in just because it's possible I'll go back and stitch the background. But at this point, I have a slightly mottled fabric already, and I think I like this color better than the yellow that was there, so I figured I'll just work on that. And I have, this is 32 count 1/1 half stitches. It is a little light in the coverage, which I knew it probably would be, but I'm okay with that. I think it's fine. And it's very, very thick confetti. So there's, I don't think I won't get this section done today. It would be nice, but I don't think that's going to happen. I got about 200 stitches each day, each of the first 2 days I worked on it. And then yesterday it was more like, it's 138. So not quite as much, but I'll do my best. I'll keep going on this chunk. This is like, I don't know, but this is clearly the page breaks right here. And I'm guessing owl. Somebody else guessed a tiger. I forget what, there was another one. I don't remember, but I'm guessing an owl, but we'll see. Some other people in the Facebook group, which you can only get into that Facebook group if you've purchased it. You need to give them your order number in order to be accepted. So only people stitching it are in that group. Some people said the owners, I guess, of the cross stitch studio said you won't know what it is until 4 or 5 months into it. So I'm very curious, because I would think the next one you would kind of get more of a sense, because if it's like a head or something, but maybe it's not a head. I don't know. So we'll see. There's a lot of confetti in there. So far it's kind of hard to work on it, knowing that I don't know what it looks like. And that it's a lot of confetti for something that I may not like. So it's a little interesting. So I'm disappointed that this first page doesn't have anything identifiable. Like if there were like flowers or grasses or trees or something in the background that was recognizable, that would be cool, because then you could see at least a little bit of something starting. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of disappointing that the background was so, it's super confetti heavy for possibly no reason. So I'm very curious, I guess, to see what the rest of it looks like. So I'll keep going with it. We'll see how far I get. I'll just do one more day on it this month, and then see how it goes next month. I reserve the right to stop working on it too if enough comes out and I decide I don't like it. I'm okay not finishing it, because it's a lot of work on something that you don't like. But I'm hoping I like it. I'm hoping it'll be fun to do. So let's see. I should do my iris now because I never showed you that. I did also not work on this again until probably the 2nd. Yeah, the 2nd and 3rd I did a little bit on this, so not very much at all, but here's my iris picture. Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one I really need to work on every day, because now I'm using it for 21,000 stitches in 2021, and this one will be finished well before that point. It has like 16,000, maybe 16 to 18,000 stitches left. So when this one is done, I'll work on the waterfall and Yosemite piece, which is this one. So that'll come out at the end of the year to finish up that challenge when this one's finished. But currently, just got a little bit done on this week, and here it is. Compared to last week, this is 25 count 1/1 full crosses, and I did some light gray down this side, and I think I did some like pinky stuff through here. So not a lot, but a little bit. I will try to be more faithful to work on this throughout this week, because I want to make sure I stay on track to get that goal done. Because I do want this finished before, probably in October at the latest, so that I can get it framed and shipped to my aunt for her birthday in November. So that's kind of my goal for that one. Okay, so the plan at the end of this past week for the New Year's, before New Year's actually, the end of 2020, I wanted to start tea and books because I figured I'd have time. I was wrong. So I decided I wanted to remove the background in Pattern Keeper and stitch it on some fun fabric instead. So I did get that done. I finished it. I removed the background. I posted a picture on Instagram, and it was almost 56% of the piece was background. So that's a lot. More than half of this design is background. So I'm very happy that I took it out because now all I have to do is stitch the fun stuff. So I got this ready in Pattern Keeper, and I got it pinned for my start, but it's not started. So this is my fabric. It's 40 count Vertil in Days Gone By Silk Weaver. And I'm gonna start with the steam. So I found the center, which is right there. I moved down 40, I think this is the top of the piece, the top of the charted design. And then this is 47 stitches down, which is where the steam starts. And then 12 stitches over, which is the actual point of the steam. So the steam will be right here, which is actually kind of off-centered a little bit. So I'm not sure how well it'll show up because it is kind of light right there actually. So we'll see, we'll see. I think I was thinking it might end up right here, but it's fine. The steam isn't super important. The steam is white, and then it will get right into the teacups, so, and the butterflies, so gotta love that. So that is ready to start, but is not started. So I will keep this on the back burner. I will start it hopefully in February, because there's just too much going on in January. This bingo challenge is kind of a lot for just right out of the gate, especially with the way my Etsy shop gets busy at the turn of the year. So not the best timing for me, but it's still fun. So I'm gonna look forward to getting some of that done this week. So let's go into this coming week. We're gonna work on yeah, I'll work on my Wildlife Sal one more day, and then I'll start my letter L fairy. I'll spend one day on the L fairy, hopefully get 200 stitches on that. And then I'm gonna work on Visit Endor for 2 bingo prompts. This is this one. This is not compatible with Pattern Keeper. I know I could put it in there and, you know, block things off with gray stitches, but because it's not fully compatible, it's not, I don't like working on it in there when it's not colored when it's done, because then it's hard to see where you are, because I'd end up with just a big block of gray, and then it's not very helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep using the paper on this one, and I have about this much done. This is by Country Magic Stitch on Etsy, and I'm doing this 28 count 2/1 half stitches on Dove Gray Monaco. And that's the full width of the design. It's nice and small. It's like maybe 5 or 6 inches wide. So there's the start of the Death Star and the trees and all of that. So I'm going to use it for 2 bingo prompts, one for celebration, because there was quite a festive celebration on Endor when they blew up the Death Star, and the Ewoks celebrated and danced, and there were fireworks and the whole deal. It's not shown here, but I'm hoping that'll work. And then the other one was for the project with least amount of stitches, and this is actually works for that too. So where did I write that down somewhere? I don't know. I wrote it down somewhere. It's like 23,000 or something, 23,000, something like that, which is my smallest project that's full coverage. I think Iris is second smallest. currently going. So there's that one. So that'll be 2 days on that to do the 2 different bingo prompts. I'm trying to give each bingo square a 1 day so that and that's why I'm shifting my projects this week to allow myself 1 more full day on the wildlife salve, just because I didn't want to have to try to figure out how to split my day over 2 bingo squares, because I'm not getting a ton of stitching time, and so I didn't want to figure out like how much is enough to count for 1 square. I want to do whatever I can manage in a day is a square. I'm not doing the counting version because I'd rather get a blackout than count. So rather than choosing fewer projects and then counting, I'll do more projects and just spend 1 day on each. So that'll get 2 days this week. And then my next one will be my iris. So that will be, let's see, let's shift that all over. I didn't quite rewrite it all in here properly, but my iris will get 1 whole day as my focus piece, so I won't work on anything else that day. Because I'm using it for a birthday prompt in Cross Stitch Township, and so that one I'm using for the bingo square closest to a finish, because it is closest to a finish. I can see the end in sight, so I'll do my iris all day that day on the 9th. And then my last one I'll work on is Knitting Woman. This one is not for a bingo prompt, just for my mom. So I'm just using this for my family piece, working on it once a month for my family piece. So however much I want to do on it is fine. I worked on it a little bit last month for something, and I got started on the cat. But this time I may go back up here and keep working up here. I think I actually chose this for another challenge in a group where I needed to do something that you can hear. So I said you could hear the cat meow, you can hear her knitting needles clinking, you can hear them talking. Yeah, I may just go back up here and keep working up here, rather than, I do want to work more on the kitty, but I should probably be good and keep working on the other stuff. So here is where I'm at now on Knitting Woman. And this one is for my mom. She knows about it, and I show it to her every once in a while. But she also knows it's going to take a while to finish. But focusing on it every month, at least it's getting some more attention. And this would be fun to fill in that, so it's not quite so scattered, you know, in some of these areas in here. So started working on the cat last time, but I have a lot of this is still open. So I finally got her sleeve and this area up here finished. So now I've got all of this stuff to work on from here down. So this is 22 count, 2/1 half stitches, and it is a pretty light coverage in the dark colors, but it's still good enough that I'm enjoying it and keeping up with it. You can see her fingers starting to come together right here. Pretty cool. Anyways, this is a golden kite pattern, and I'll give that 1 day. And I'll work on this. I think I have goals in various challenge groups. I have goals for Visit Endor and Knitting Woman to get 300 stitches. So I'm hoping to get that many at least. So we'll see. Since they're half stitch projects, I think that's doable, but we'll see. So I think that's all I have planned for this week. Next week, I'm hoping to spend the entire week on the stitching shelf, and so that'll be kind of a fun week to hop around that piece and work on different aspects of it. One last thing I don't want to forget is I have a new Flosstube channel to recommend to you. My friend Desiree in the Netherlands just started her own channel. So we've been becoming friends over Instagram and Facebook Messenger and comments on the videos and various things like that. So it's fun to finally meet her and in the video and have her share her projects. So she is called the Addicted, or just Addicted Stitcher. I don't know if there's a the. I'll go look it up, and I'll put her title up here. It's ADD, Addicted Stitcher, and she has a very similar aesthetic to what I like to stitch. It's really funny if we compare the patterns that we have either started or in our stash. There's a lot of crossover. I'm like, well, I love that, I have that, I love that, I have that. So if you like what I stitch, you'll love what she stitches. So I encourage you to go over there and try her new channel. And with that, I think that's everything for this week. Or for today. I'm hoping I'll have time to make a whip parade this week or next week, because I did one last year on the 3rd, and I thought it would be fun to compare a whole year's worth of progress before I get too far into this year. This year started out a lot busier than I anticipated, so I'm hoping I can find time for that. At the very least, it'll be a montage of pictures if I don't have time to actually come up here and film, but I want to put out something for you. So hopefully I can get something like that made this week as well. No promises, but hopefully. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful start to your new year and enjoy lots of stitching and spending time with your family, and happy stitching. Bye.